Right. So we are looking at decision making tonight. Yeah, it's an interesting one because that report will result in several decisions which have to be taken. Now, give me a sense of what the decisions are here and what the options are. Who has had a chance to read this? Has anyone read it? Because one of the consequences is if this report and the elements within the report aren't addressed, there is a chance that we will go to load shedding level 13. Level 13. So we normally and what do you think, Walter? What are some of the key issues here? So here are the key findings.
Well, I think
Guys, okay, just type your number in, Josh, and somebody will add you. Go, Walter.
yes, I think there's a whole lot of irregularities that have been going on for long, and they've seemed to just accept them, and even to try to address the issues, they're kind of like beating about the bush. It's not really concrete that they're going to address those issues.
Yeah, well, that's it. Now, one of the first things that you do, okay, boy, courts, please add Josh there. So, one of the first things you do when you take decisions is you need to separate the cause from the symptoms. Okay. Now, when I look at that, a lot of that are symptoms. They're the obvious. Now, how do we get to the causes of those? Dysfunctional management systems, morale at power stations, lack of a culture of accountability. Those are consequences. They symptoms. And what we have to do is we need to isolate the cause. Yeah, I saw that, Gerardo, that there was a clear plan of recommendations, and you would hope in terms of what VGBE did is that they've isolated the causes, because I worry sometimes that we react to symptoms. I think that's it, Utimale. I think for me the two causes, leadership certainly is one. And the second one for me is this need to separate government and influences from politics in Eskom. Leadership to me will sort out a lot, but it's ethical leadership. It is somebody who has a sense of and oh my gosh, crisis management. These guys put out more fires than Maritzburg Fire Service. I mean, it's ridiculous, or Joburg Fire Service. There is a real sense of playing catch up all the time. Now, this report is so complex, and I'm very impressed that BGBE had a chance to make those recommendations. But truthfully, what is the likelihood that those recommendations are going to be followed? So, in terms of decision making essentially is everything that can be done in terms of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling will come from decision making. It's as simple as that. So, in terms of decision making, for me, it is about identifying alternatives based on your cause after you've identified and isolated your cause, and then creating strategies to move us from what the ideal is to the ideal from where we are now, which is the mess that we're in. So, if we look at, I'm going to skip over some of these. Sina, unfortunately, I agree with you. I really believe that that is what is going to happen. I think I might have opened the wrong chapter. Hold on, my apologies. Sorry, guys. What chapter in the MO are we looking at for decision making? I've now closed everything up as a chapter 8. Thank you so much, Tamia and Mandy. Right. Why, Walter, voting is around the corner, but voting is very, very close. But I think there will be some noise made. There will be some, yeah, I want to use their form of greenwashing and their form of spin doctoring, and maybe that's the better term. So if we look at decision making, as I said, it's choosing from a set of alternatives. So in terms of taking a decision, you will always start by taking a step back from the obvious. The obvious will always be symptoms. So when we think of decisions that get taken, it's easy to see the symptoms. If you go to a doctor and a doctor tells you, listen, you've got a runny nose, or you have got a fever, you've got a headache, your eyes are watery, what do you think the doctor is going to say you have? Because all those are all symptoms. Those are all symptoms. He's going to say it's flu. And the reason the doctor will isolate the flu is because he will prescribe based on the essence of the disease. So, in terms of the first part of the decision making process, now please don't laugh at my art. You know, I seriously take my art. It is about separating the cause from the obvious. All those things that we see there are symptoms. The symptoms are the nonsense. If for example you look at somebody who is in a bad relationship, what are the symptoms of being in a bad relationship? What are the symptoms? A lot of fighting, absolutely a lot of fighting. What are other symptoms? Yeah, withdrawal, communication breakdown. Yeah, Katie, abuse, insecurities, poor mental health. Now, if you had to deal with those as separate issues, you would have so many solutions because you're dealing with symptoms. Now, what is the cause there? What is the single cause? The cause normally is that two people who don't belong together and who shouldn't be together somehow stay together because that's bad decision making. It's a connect. And the cause is what we try and isolate all the time. Who here works on cars, tinker around with vehicles? What is the first thing you do in the morning when you get in your car and it's dead? Now, I'm not talking about the swearing and the kicking and the other stuff that happens. What is the first thing you do when your car is dead? Go inside, bugger this, check the battery, check the battery, open the bonnet, check the battery, check the battery. Okay, try and kickstart it. With so many people driving auto now, Gerardo's, people don't even know what kickstart is. So, you know, the fact that something doesn't start, it's a symptom. It is a symptom. If your laptop doesn't switch on, the first thing you do, because the laptop not switching on is a call AA. Yeah, call your dad. Yeah, Tanya, that's a very good answer as well. Um, yeah, there's so many things. Turn the plug on, see if it's got power. And then from there, you look at other elements because all those things are symptoms. So, in terms of the first step, we isolate the cause from the symptoms. Generally, in the second step, you would then go and set a standard to what this problem would look like once it's been effectively dealt with. uh, Cameron. I'm going to sound all gangster now. Is that throwing shade, Cameron? What is the cause there, Cameron? What is the cause? What causes you to put diesel in a car? He's a faulty guy. Guys, so the first one is we then set a standard. The standard is what this problem will look like once we've effectively dealt with it. So, in terms of Eskom, the standard would be to create a provider that meets the country's um, electricity requirements in an effective way without any blackouts. So you set a standard. And once we've got the standard, and what is important about this is that you're very clear in terms of that standard. Once you've got the standard, you can then shove in your various solutions. And each of those could be get a new CEO, um, sell it to the highest private bidder, etc., etc. So the decision-making process is based around specifically your cause and then what you want the cause, the problem, to look like once it's been effectively dealt with. So that is that process there. So in terms of the types of decisions, you would have done this in second year BMNG 6222. Program decisions. Program decisions are those that happen regularly. Give me examples of program decisions at your work, and it's normally based on policies and standard operating practices, SOPs. Give me examples of program decisions where you guys work. Procedures, rules, absolutely, Tanya. So if somebody arrives and pays their account with cash, there is a specific procedure that gets activated. You don't need someone to take a decision about it. You simply follow the standard operating procedure. Non-programmed decisions essentially are those that are unique. Now, the difference is that non-programmed decisions often don't have clear solutions to them. Here, you're provided with the solutions because the solutions are in the form of standard operating procedures. Non-programmed decisions are unique. They're often once-offs, and they require a lot of. Okay, Josh, I've just put, I don't know, Josh is asking for, okay. So yeah, he's asking for the assignments. So guys, in terms of the non-programmed decisions, often very unique, requires significant time, and also requires significant creativity. And then the decision-making conditions. Yeah, the best alternative is bounded rationality. So it's based around bounded rationality. Is that not it? I think that's it. Oh, I can't remember. Rational decision making models. Gosh, is it called that? I can't remember. Yeah, bounded rationality. I'm sure it is. Okay. In terms of the decision making conditions, if you had R1 million, what would be the certain decision? If you had R1 million, what would be the most stable decision to take there? To do what would you do with the million? Yeah, investment. You'd stick it in the bank. You put it in a fixed deposit because we know what the outcomes are. We're not going to guess anything more than that. Oof, property is dodge because that's not a certain decision, Katie. I think property for me could be a risky decision. Property would fit there. Put it in the bank at a fixed deposit goes there. Property goes there. Okay, with only 1 mil in it, yeah. And then, but I think you are right in terms of that. And then what is uncertain? Now remember, we often see risk and uncertainty go hand in hand. Doing what with that R1 million is the most risky and the most uncertain. Gambling or buying cryptocurrency. But yeah, Forex, yeah, cryptocurrency, buying blockchain certainly for me is hell of a unpredictable. Yeah, lending it to family. Yeah, that's one way of waving goodbye to it. Okay, the opportunity cost. Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, 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 I think for me, the most stable decision is the bank decision. But we also, yeah. Okay, guys, and then just in terms of the classical model, yeah, I think we take logical, rational, it's bounded rationality. I'm 100% certain. So in terms of the classical decision-making model, honestly, we don't have non-risky decisions. We don't have certain decisions anymore. There are very, very few of them around. Maybe with the million rand money market, maybe the fact that you put it into a fixed deposit, but the opportunity cost is significant then. So in terms of the decision-making process, so the first step is where you essentially um, separate the cause from the symptoms. Also, as part of that process, normally what you would do is you would set a standard as to what the problem would look like. And then you look for alternatives, evaluate your alternatives, and then arrive at the best solution. Guys, can I just say, in terms of this one here, I like the idea of separating your cause from your symptoms and then creating a goal, what that problem would look like once it's been effectively dealt with. Okay. And then you follow up on the results. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop there tonight. It is already 9:15. I started at 8 o'clock this morning and I came back from Westville. So thank you very much, everyone. I'm a little bit buggered now. Uh,